This is the most compact automatic contaminated farm in once human, which requires only 3 watts of power to grow crops, and is capable of producing over 600 acid per day. Its construction has become possible again because in the recent update, the developers reduced the gap between loamy soils to an adequate level. The area of this farm without outer parts is only 3 by 3 half blocks, and there is a reason why I used loamy soil for this. In the previous video I showed you a small test in which it turned out that when using growth boost fertilizer, the growth speed bonus from the planter box is reduced by more than 2 times. This means that a more bulky farm using planter boxes will speed up the growth of contaminated plants by only 30 to 40 minutes, which hardly makes sense, and this is the reason why it is better to use loamy soil. The farm itself is vertically responsive, and each layer except for the 2 topmost ones, contains 36 loamy soils. The farm can include up to 7 such layers at most, using only 1 irrigation facility. This is important because as you may remember from my previous videos, each irrigation facility uses about 100 units of pure water per hour if you are online, so we don't want to overuse them. The farm looks nice, but there is a problem. In order to effectively grow contaminated crops, we need darkness. Unfortunately in open areas, the outer loamy soils in this build will receive daylight and the growth rate of contaminated crops will be slowed, so you have 2 options, either build this farm inside your base, or initially design it as a closed cube. To give you the opportunity to check what is happening inside, I came up with the idea of attaching to this cube some doors. The solution looks kinda funny, but in fact, it is quite convenient. Planting contaminated crops in this farm will be done by a growshroom deviant, who after a recent update, can use fertilizer. I talked about how to get it, as well as how to multiply seeds, in the video from the tooltip on your screen, so I recommend you to watch it. As for now, we will build a realistic farm on 136 loamy soils, but you can build as many layers as you need. I also remind you that the irrigation status of your loamy soils is updated once per minute. Let's start. After you build this farm, be sure to save the blueprint so that if the construction mechanics change, you can still use it. The system works very simply. We have a source of pure water, which in this case is a water tank. When you launch the farm with the switch, the wall pump starts pumping water into the irrigation facility, which also turns on. Now all you have to do is give your growshroom seeds and fertilizers. To process the finished fruits, the farm is equipped with 2 brewing barrels, which are capable of processing up to 72 units of contaminated berries per hour. To produce acid you will also need pure water, which you can take from our water tank. I also remind you that in order to save energy, brewing barrels can be installed on a car with a separate generator, which is effective, but not much convenient. Now let's calculate how much acid such a farm can produce per day, if we grow contaminated wheat or contaminated berries. The standard yield is 3 fruits, and the growth cycle is 12 hours, so the minimum daily profit will be 272 units of acid. I say minimum, because quite often you will get 5 fruits from one plant instead of 3. This means that your real yield will be higher by an average of 25%. This is a very approximate figure, but unfortunately I don't have a more accurate one yet. By using fertilizers, you can significantly increase the yield. For example, you can use growth boost fertilizer during the day, to reduce the growth time of crops from 12 to 6 hours, and at night, yield boost fertilizer to get an increased yield every morning. So technically, this farm on 136 loamy soil can bring you from 300 to 600 acid every day, while consuming only 23 watts of power. More farms and tests will appear very soon. Subscribe to the channel so as not to miss them. As always, thank you for watching and bye.